And nothing is more fundamental to learning than having a healthy sense of I am somebody. I count.
Jackson was speaking at the concluding session of the 17th Annual National Migrant Education Conference. He moved the audience of more than 800 to standing ovations on many occasions. Jackson accused the Reagan administration of supporting a military buildup that has resulted in $750 billion in cost overruns while not providing adequate funding for education.
The U.S. government must determine that the education of our children is our first line of defense.
Jackson also took a swipe at Reagan's difficulty in finding locations to store the MX missile.
We knew there was a gap in education when they made these missiles and then they had no place to put them. Even the cowboys, back in the days before we had an education department, even they had enough sense to make a holster for the gun.
Jackson, who gained national prominence through his work with the late Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., is thinking about seeking the Democratic presidential nomination in 1984. He said he'll make the decision by August. There were several subtle and not so subtle hints to that effect. The Baptist minister in him very obvious.
I'll survive the dark night, and joy will come in the morning, and we will go from the slum house to the state house, to the courthouse, to the White House in our day. Thank you very much, and God bless you. Thank you.
The words really weren't necessary. The pictures speak for themselves. In Portland, Denise Kovacevic, Channel 2 News.
Thank you very much. And so we shall mobilize direct action both at the polls and mass demonstrations. A grant, I guess. With all the focus on Howard Beach and Forsyth, Georgia, we're more locked out of the White House than we are out of Howard Beach. We're more locked out of the Justice Department than Howard Beach. More locked out of New York Times and the networks and Wall Street investment firms than we are Howard Beach and Forsyth, Georgia. And so to the extent to which there is as racial violence, we must deplore it. We must use the law to stop it. But I submit to you that economic violence driving families into disruption, despair, and suicide is a much greater and much more abounding problem at this hour. The oxen in the earth, there's no corporate accountability as to how they treat the earth. Second, there's no corporate accountability as to how they treat the people. We're in the twilight of 1984, the dawn of 1988. If we can elect congresspeople and governors and who return phone calls and senators, we can elect presidents as well. And we must. Dr. King put forth his dream outside the Lincoln Monument. Our generation cannot linger in that spot. We must take the dream inside the White House and implement it.
Yield the remainder of my time to the Reverend Jackson.
Oregon is very important to us, in part because of the sense of independence here, the focus here on environment and jobs and reinvestment and peace. And for too long, the great Northwest has been either ignored and or abandoned in national politics. I'm here because I care. I did not take the great Northwest for granted. I'm here because the people of Oregon...
Jesse Jackson's campaign landed in downtown Portland tonight. Police closed off a section of Broadway, allowing him to work the crowd.
Jackson, action, Jackson, action.
But the enthusiasm came amidst news that Jackson had lost decisively to Michael Dukakis in Nebraska and West Virginia primaries today.
I certainly want to congratulate Michael Dukakis for his showings today in West Virginia and Nebraska.
And what about the Oregon primary?
By being, of course, very late in the campaigns, often the snowball impact is set in motion, and therefore a state like Oregon is after the fact. But I'm working here because I do not take the state for granted, nor its people.
The temperature inside the Pamplin Sports Center at Lewis and Clark College hovered near 100 degrees. Jackson attacked U.S. foreign policy that has cut back aid to third world countries.
We should be exporting grain, tractors, medicine, rail, infrastructure to 400 million Latin American neighbors, allies, customers. That's the real world. That's peace. Latin America.
Jesse Jackson's 1 mile march through North Portland drew more than 1,000 people, many chanting, "Down with dope, up with hope." Joining him, Portland Mayor Bud Clark, City Commissioners Bogle, Lindbergh, and Koch. The march followed an inspirational Jackson pep talk at Jefferson High School, where he urged students to stay away from drugs.
Down with dope, up with hope. Give life a chance. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Jefferson, #1.
Then Jackson, a Baptist minister, challenged students who had ever tried drugs to come on down, admit it, and quit.
If you tried drugs, stand now. Stand and come this way and join your friends.
From urban North Portland, Jackson's campaign jetted to rural Central Oregon in Redmond. Like stops before, he was greeted with overwhelming enthusiasm and cheering.
We pay our respects and thank you that we are free to choose our leaders of our
He met
great
with
country.
Warm Springs tribal leaders, where he agreed the biggest problem on Indian reservations today is the same as in inner city schools: drugs. He promised Indian chiefs, if he were president, treaties would mean more.
You must have a greater role in our government, must be cared for and respected far more than you have been in the past.
And to Redmond High School students, a cut to the Reagan administration, which he says allows corporations to poison the land.
I want to have an environmental protection agency that protects the environment and not the agents.
If there was ever a town that fit into Jackson's Rainbow Coalition, it is Woodburn. 20% Russian Orthodox, 50% Hispanic, and farmers who were left behind in Oregon's economic recovery. Facts that did not go unnoticed.
To appreciate more than one culture is an asset. To respect all people is an asset.
This is Jackson's third day of campaigning in Oregon, a state with 51 delegates compared to California with 316. While the Dukakis campaign has spent the week explaining his absence in Oregon, voters here, even conservatives, are explaining their conversion to Action Jackson.
Well, I changed my from a Republican to Democrat for him. So does that tell you anything?
Him coming here shows that he cares about the smaller people.
Does it seem to you that Michael Dukakis is taking Oregon for granted by only appearing here one time as opposed to you 3 days?
I have no opinion on Mr. Dukakis' campaign in Oregon. I can say Jesse Jackson is not taking Oregon for granted. I'm here working hard. I'm working hard.
At Oregon State University, Jackson pushed for more education money.
We spend 7 cents on education for every $1 on the military. Let's be serious. Let's double the education budget. Let's educate our children and pay our teachers.
And on the arms race, this brought Gill Coliseum to its feet.
We were looking for a fight between Reagan and Gorbachev. Now Miss Suze and Dr. Omar got the fight, and now we got Star Wars between two astrologers. This thing is gone mad. You need Jackson action.
Last night's MacArthur Court appearance in Eugene drew 14,000 people, the most this year to show up for a Jackson campaign stop.
Jesse Jackson and I are friends. We respect each other. And that's going to continue.
Jackson's 3 days in Oregon left Michael Dukakis defending his brief 3 hours here. He tried to dispel the notion that Jackson cares more about Oregon, a state with only 1/6 the delegates of California.
Well, I hope nobody will draw that conclusion. I have an additional responsibility, as I think everybody knows, and that is I'm a sitting governor of an important state, and I have to spend time there.
It wasn't easy.
Dukakis was spending time campaigning in California today, though, which holds its primary 2 weeks after Oregon's. Jackson also campaigned in California, but clearly is hoping for a surprise showing in Oregon next Tuesday to ignite new momentum for California. He'll return to Oregon on Monday. His campaign received enthusiastic cheers everywhere, including this stop on the picket line at the James River Mill in Halsey, where 600 strikers are locked in a dispute over job security. Jackson's moving yet unspecific messages at times dotted the state during the last 3 days, like his Barracuda speech, describing large corporations.
We're talking about barracudas eating up small fish. And these barracudas have little eyes. And barracudas got little eyes, big mouth, sharp teeth, and insatiable appetite. It's the economic barracuda that's getting all the profits and taking the blood out of the family farmer and the consumer. Barracudas eat up all small fish.
With Jackson and Dukakis competing for delegates on Tuesday, there is no competition for George Bush, who already has a virtual lock on the Republican nomination. He's scheduled to arrive in Portland tonight, hold a fundraiser, tour the Intel plant in Aloha tomorrow morning, then on to Medford in the afternoon. His supporters consider his visit not a campaign stop for Oregon's primary, but rather for the November election. Mark Hass, Channel 2 News.
The two-time presidential candidate made room in his Portland schedule for a speech denouncing ballot measure 9. The fight over the controversial measures recently started drawing nationwide attention.
The Creator has truly blessed the planet with the gift of this warrior for peace and justice, the Reverend Jesse Jackson.
Cheers from a crowd of nearly 1,000 greeted Jackson inside Northeast Portland's Westminster Presbyterian Church, reminiscent of his days on the presidential campaign trail. Jackson heads the Rainbow Coalition. Its local chapter organized the gathering. It is one of a number of political, business, and private groups opposing ballot measure 9. In an hour-long speech, Jackson condemned the measure as divisive, feeding partly on the pain and frustration of hard economic times.
This is a civilizational crisis. And it's not because of gays and blacks and gypsies.
Jackson chastised Measure 9's basic premise, singling out one group of people under any law. He said supporting the measure would be impossible for those of a Christian faith, even if they believe the gay lifestyle is a sin.
Sinners saved by grace, not people quarantined by politicians. That's not the premise of our faith. It's an ungodly, arrogant, sinful act. It's an attempt to play God.
Senate Democratic candidate Lessa Coyne handed out registration forms to unregistered voters at the gathering. Jackson predicted Measure 9's defeat this November, claiming the opposition holds the moral high ground. In Northeast Portland, Bob High, Channel 2 News. Jackson's second day in Portland started with a walk through the halls of Southeast Portland's Cleveland High School and eventually to a student assembly. The two-time presidential candidate said Cleveland's 1,500 students and staff represent a little United Nations. Jackson donned a Cleveland High School sweatshirt to the crowd's delight. He urged students to turn aside at-risk gang and drug activity and avoid squandering their education.
And America at its best does not guarantee success. America guarantees opportunity.
Reverend Jackson may have surprised some students when he chastised careless attitudes, represented by caps worn just about everywhere.
Take the hat off. Just take it off.
Jackson says the country needs youthful ambition, now more than ever.
This new America we're building, we seek to heal, we seek to rebuild. You are not just our tomorrow, you are our right now.
Dozens of students signed voter registration cards. Jackson passed on personal counseling to several students, including freshman Lawrence Collins.
He just told me to stay in school and get a good job.
What do you think of the man? Had you met him before, and what's your opinion?
No, I haven't met him before, but he's a nice guy.
Jackson challenged the teenagers to seek change beyond the school walls, change he believes is essential for America's survival. In Southeast Portland, Bob High, Channel 2 News.
It just makes more sense to invest in prenatal care and Head Start and scholarships and daycare on the front side of life rather than jail care and welfare on the back side. Let's go forward by hope and not backwards by fear. Building bridges. Opening up doors. That's what it's about. Let's make America better and better and better and better. Keep hope alive. Thank you very much. George Halliday had some sense of ethics and character, some sense of his mama or daddy or Sunday school